As National Day approaches, another flagship warship of the Chinese Navy is quietly nearing completion. Inside the dry dock at Hudong-Zhonghua Shipbuilding, the 13th Type 055 destroyer has completed its paintwork, with signs indicating final preparations for its imminent launching ceremony. This is no ordinary vessel, but one of the most advanced and representative surface combatants currently in service with the Chinese Navy. More significantly, its emergence signals that the second batch of Type 055 construction is nearing its conclusion, while the subsequent Type 055B variant appears to be moving beyond mere theoretical discussions. The time span from the launch of the first Type 055 to this 13th vessel has been relatively short. Believed to be the fifth ship in the second batch, its emergence maintains nearly the same pace as last year. According to public records, the second batch comprises 6 vessels in total, and the appearance of this 13th ship signals the imminent conclusion of the entire series. For the outside world, these vessels represent not merely quantitative growth, but a significant signal of the Chinese Navy's sustained advancement in the direction of the open seas. The Type 055 destroyer itself represents a leap forward for China in large surface warship development. Moving from single ship construction to batch commissioning signifies mature design, stable production capabilities, and clear strategic utility for this class. Satellite imagery and port activity corroborate this. Frequent changes at the Hudong shipyard over recent months, coupled with accelerated movements of large vessels, indicate the shipbuilding program is progressing methodically. Considering the Fujian aircraft carrier's recent training activities and resupply maneuvers, it becomes evident that China is actively building a blue water fleet with comprehensive strike capabilities, with the Type 055 serving as its backbone. Although the Type 055 destroyer has garnered significant international attention, from a technological development perspective, it remains merely a starting point. As new generation operational demands continue to evolve, the emergence of the Type 055B is virtually inevitable. While official confirmation of the 055B remains elusive, clues from university research papers on naval propulsion, industry exhibitions, and publicly available naval documents paint a clearer picture. This new variant is likely to feature significant upgrades in displacement, structure, electrical systems, and weaponry. Among the most frequently mentioned enhancements is integrated full electric propulsion technology. Compared to traditional propulsion systems, this new approach converts onboard fuel into electrical energy, which is then distributed to various systems including radar, propulsion units, and even high-energy weapons. This method not only enables quieter operation and more responsive maneuvering, but also lays the physical and energy foundation for future electromagnetic railguns and laser systems. Regarding weaponry, the Type 055B is expected to feature a greater number of vertical launch cells and potentially more flexible missile mix capabilities. Hypersonic missiles, long-range air defense missiles, and precision strike weapons for land targets could all be integrated into a unified strike system, further enhancing the fleet's comprehensive combat capabilities. These changes are not about showing off technology, but about real combat readiness. From routine patrols in the South China Sea to complex situations around the East China Sea, and the ever-changing military posture around Taiwan, China is clearly preparing for more complex missions. During the period leading up to 2025, the military atmosphere around the Taiwan island has noticeably intensified. Since the beginning of the year, the Chinese military has conducted multiple island encircling drills, with naval and air forces maintaining high-frequency deployments in the region. While each operation explicitly states the goal of safeguarding national unity, it is evident that such high-density deployments require robust maritime platforms for support. The Type 055 destroyer stands as the cornerstone of this support, capable of air defense, anti-submarine warfare, and long-range strike missions. Its effectiveness in complex maritime environments hinges on the fleet's command capabilities and platform performance, specifically, the ability to detect, lock onto, and strike targets first. From this perspective, the mass commissioning of the Type 055 is essentially a preemptive preparation for potential contingencies across the Taiwan Strait. The advancement of the 055B variant responds to future scenarios, involving broader operational ranges and diverse mission requirements. Judging by the current pace, the lead ship of the 055B class is likely already in the model testing or initial construction phase. Considering the typical 2-3 year timeline from construction to operational deployment, these new vessels could enter active service around 2027. By that time, the Chinese Navy's operational capabilities beyond the first island chain will reach a new level. Moreover, the South China Sea remains a critical focus alongside the Taiwan Strait. The Philippines has recently intensified interactions with external powers, repeatedly attempting on-the-ground actions in disputed waters. The United States has also escalated its freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea, even dispatching an aircraft carrier strike group to the region earlier this month. In the face of such uncertainties, the tangible presence of naval power often carries greater persuasive weight than mere verbal declarations. Judging by the pace of warship construction, China has entered a new phase. Over the past few years, whether it's the mass production of the Type 055 destroyers or the alternating construction of the Type 052D and Type 054B frigates, it demonstrates a high degree of planning and execution. This rhythm is entirely different from the past mindset of building only when needed, and instead resembles configuration based on systems, functions, and mission lines. This change is not merely an upgrade at the warship level, but a reconstruction of the entire combat system. Aircraft carriers no longer operate in isolation but are supported by a coordinated fleet including amphibious assault ships, destroyers, frigates, and replenishment vessels. Each platform has a clearly defined role. Some focus on anti-submarine warfare, others provide air cover, and still others deliver long-range strikes. Tasks are distinctly assigned, with platforms complementing each other's capabilities. Crucially, this integrated force now possesses the capacity for sustained deployment in distant waters. Since the beginning of this year, the Chinese Navy has conducted multiple cross-regional training exercises, spanning from the South China Sea to the Western Pacific, and from the Indian Ocean to the Middle East. The fleet not only reached these areas, but also demonstrated the capability for long-term presence and sustained operations. This represents the true meaning of going global. The Type 055 and the future Type 055B serve as the backbone of this system. They are not merely the fleet's armed escorts, but amplifiers of the entire Navy's strategic capabilities. In the future, similar fleet formations will become routine across multiple theaters, rather than special operations. The imminent launch of the 13th Type 055 marks not merely an incremental addition to the fleet, but a substantive leap in strategic capability. From near-sea operations to the deep blue, the Chinese Navy is charting its own course toward the future. The gradual advancement of the Type 055B further signals that this journey will not stop here. The situation on the Taiwan Strait, developments in the South China Sea, and the global competition for maritime dominance all reveal that modern navies are no longer mere symbols of national defense but genuine strategic instruments. Amidst these major shifts, China's fleet is quietly playing an increasingly pivotal role. While ordinary citizens may not track warship models daily, when these fleets safeguard maritime routes and defend national interests far from home, we may sense a stronger, more stable foundation gradually taking shape.